Alrighty, good morning everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday morning. I'm Jeff Cook, Marketing Specialist here at SmartSimple. And today we'll be walking you through the fundamentals of setting up and managing user roles and permissions in SmartSimple. By using an application form, we'll demonstrate how permissions give you the flexibility to configure what users can see and do based on the roles you've assigned them. And by the end of the webinar, you should know how to create and assign roles to categorize your internal and external users based on their particular job functions, and administer permissions to roles which manage the visibility of data and access to specific features in SmartSimple. And before we begin, I introduce you to today's presenter, Mustafa, who's a business analyst with our implementation team. He currently works on implementation projects for granting and research clients and has been with us almost 3 years. And finally, before we begin, this is a quick reminder to please mute all your microphones, phones, computers. We can hear you on the other side. And if you have a question, please type it into the chat box in the WebEx console, and we'll be happy to answer it at any time. And now I'll pass it over to Mustafa to get started.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. So today we'll be talking about the fundamental of managing roles and permissions. I want just to highlight that this is the basic about creating a role, assigning that role to the users, and then administering the permissions based on those roles. So for the permissions on SmartSimple, there are many ways or different parts that actually are involved in controlling the permissions in regards to the access into the system. However, just today we'll be focusing on two parts, which is the functionality. There is a functionality on SmartSimple and the custom fields. So for the functionality, I'll be talking about two examples, and for the custom fields, I'll be talking about the examples. And again, it's for the basic. And then we'll be using an application form in order to show you those changes about the permissions that we'll be setting up together. So just a quick description about the importance of the rules in SmartSimple system. So rules, and then creating a role or having a role on the system, and then enabling the permissions or disabling certain permissions to that role actually will help you have a full control about what external users and internal users will be able to see or do in SmartSimple system. And also, rules and permissions as a feature or functionality itself on SmartSimple is one of the key elements of security of your system. So next, so this is as use case. When I was in support, we were we got a lot of questions saying, hey, so how can I tell whether this specific information in a web application is only visible to internal people? And just one quick definition about this: when I say internal people, it means that internal staff that are part of your organization, your colleagues. But when we're saying external users, it means the applicants, the other organizations or people that are working on other organizations that are submitting their applications or their grants to your system. So this is the difference between the internal users and the external users. So we can say internal users are staff, your staff members within your organization, and then external users are for the external organizations. As part of defining the security within SmartSimple, so we'll do through creating a role. So we'll be creating one role, one for staff people and one for external users, and then we'll go to the next part that would be assigning the roles, and then we'll be administering the permissions. So, and then the permissions, again, there will be two sub-parts. The first one is the functionality on SmartSimple, and the second will be for the custom fields or the information itself. So if there is a specific information they would like to be only visible to staff members, so I will show you how you can do that. So now we'll start with the first item, which is creating a role. So I will now show you how to create that. So I will go and then I will just share my screen here. So here I'm using a system, so it's our demo system. I saw on backup as well. So to create a role or assign a role, all we will be seeing today in our webinar, only the system admin person can actually create or assign or do all those settings. I mean by system admin, a person that is on SmartSimple system that actually has a role, a system admin role in his or her profile. So if you are just administrator or admin staff on your organization, it doesn't mean that you have system admin permissions on SmartSimple. So if you see on the system here different parts, so it doesn't mean that you will have the same if you don't have the system admin. However, just when I'll be showing you, so maybe the terminology that is being used here on the system is a little bit different from yours, because I'll be using, for instance, the grant manager, so maybe it's called on your system submission manager or request manager or case manager, etc. Now, the first part, as I said, creating a role. So we'll be creating a role. So to create a role, you need to go into the configuration part. So from here, we have roles and permissions. So you hover over this icon here, and then you click on roles and permissions. So once you click on it, there are many options here, but the only one option or feature that we'll be talking about today in our webinar is the user roles. So you click on the user roles, then we have the list of all roles that are already created. So the list that you see here, it may be different from the one that you have on your system right now, because the names of the roles are different, so you can call them wherever you want. And just the role itself, so it doesn't mean that the name, you should come up with the name that is different. It could be like a name that reflects the job title or role of certain people on your organization, like finance people or marketing people, etc. To create a new role, all you need to do here, we have a button that is +sign. So you click on it, and then you will be redirected to a page to create a role. So once you click on that button, you will end up with this page that you see here. Now we have the name that you need to come up with the name. So just one thing, if there is already a role that has the same name, so avoid giving the same name. It should be a different name. So if for you in the future, when you're setting up the permission, so we'll not get confused if there are two roles that actually have the same name. So you enter the name. So this part is only if you will be setting up the portal for that role. So we'll not be discussing the portal because it's not part of the webinar today. We are only focusing on creating the role and then assigning the permissions to that role. So the description just for your own use. So you can say, hey, so this is a role that will be assigned to marketing staff, for instance. So that's just for your own use, actually. So for UTA role only, so this is just in case if you will be assigning this role to a web form or application form or grant or a case, but it's not mandatory. And here, for internal user only, so you can check off this option, which is optional, it's not mandatory. You can check off this option if the role that you are about to create is for internal staff of your organization. So the next one, the portal title, so that's optional if you want to give a title for the portal or for this role. So again, if you will be creating a portal for this role, so maybe creating a portal could be one of the topics for the upcoming webinars. And then for those, the secure token, in case if like you're using that in order to log in into SmartSimple, it means that you will have like a token in addition to entering the password to log into SmartSimple. So if you're not using that, you don't have to check it out. The next one is the resume and skills, so you don't have to select it if you are not using that option on SmartSimple. And then the last one for the formula, it's in here you can put a syntax to update certain values of some custom fields if you want to be updated automatically. So this is like a brief description of those items. However, if you go into our wiki.smartsimple.com, and then you just type in roles and permissions in the search box, you will be given a description of all those items that you see here on this page. So right now, for our to show like what you really need in order like to create a role and then set up the permissions for that role. So right now, all you need is just giving like assigning a name. So I'll be just like entering like name here. So we'll just like say internal like staff members, for instance. So this is like the name, and then I will just click on save. So once I click on save, as you see here, there are other tabs that are appearing. However, all those tabs are only for the configuration of the portal. Again, as I mentioned, if you will be creating a portal for this role, so that's something that I will not be doing today. So it means that I will not be explaining those tabs. For the permissions here, so in case the people that will be assigned this role that we just created, those contacts, because it's internal members or internal staff, if those contacts that will have this role will have the permission to create contacts. So if it's the case, then you will be using this. If they will not be able to create contacts, so you don't have to worry about these options. Now, in case if they will be creating contacts, so you have here like able to set, so it means that if they will be creating contacts, which roles can actually select for those contacts that are creating. Is it you can, for instance, you can say, hey, I have my staff, I want my staff members to be able to create contacts, but only external contacts. So it means that I would go here and then let's say I would select organization contacts. So it means that they will be creating the contacts, but that's the only role that will be assigning to those contacts that are about to create. They will not be able to assign other roles. So you select the roles that should be available to them when they are creating the contacts. So you can select as many as you want. To activate, in case if they want to activate an account or a contact profile, so for which role? So again, same thing, you would just go in and then select the role that you want. The two next options is to set up the password. So it means that being able to change the password when you are on the contact profile. And the last one is to edit the email address. So why do we have it? Because, as you know, we use the email address to log in into SmartSimple. It's the username. So again, if your role, actually, if the people that will be given that role you are about to create, those people will not have the permission to create users on SmartSimple, so you don't have to worry about those 4 options under role permissions section. Here for the email and email broadcast, in case if you're using it, so you can set up the permissions against the role. So you can say, hey, so what are the roles that will be able to be part of the email broadcast that will be sent out by this role. It means that the contacts that will have this role, if they have the permission to create the email broadcast and send them through SmartSimple, they will be able to send it to which role. So you can select this role here, and same for the filtering against which, if it's only for certain roles or for contacts and organizations. So this section, it may be different from your system. As I said, this is our demo system, so we have it here. So maybe on your side, if you are right now trying to go, and then if you see the roles and page, so you may not see this part, and that's fine. The next one, the current user. So from here, you can assign this role assign contacts to this role that we just created. So we come back actually to this when I be talking about the assignment. So far as you've seen, so the only thing we need is the name of the role. So this is for creating a new role on SmartSimple. So now since I created for internal users, I will just go and then create another one for external users. So I can just click on this plus sign again, and then I'll be redirected to a new page, and then I can create that role, or I can click on this button, and then I go back to the list of all roles, and then from here I can click on that plus button to create new role. So I will just click it, and then I will just say external, I will just call them external people. So this is, for instance, I would say I can have description here. This role will be used for all the external users from my organization, for instance. So that could be like a description for you, and they would know this will be used for non-staff people. So I will just click on Save, and I am done. So right now I just created 2 roles on the system. So, and of course, you will see them here, and all of them, the lists are sorted the order is alphabetically. So, but you can find the roles that you just created. So this is for creating a role. It's really straightforward, and then just the only thing that you need so far is just the name of that role. And of course, you can go back to that role and then change if you want to change something. So I would just for instance, click on it. This is the one that I just created, and then I can come back and then edit anything that I want. So just the only thing that you may avoid editing is the name. So once you give it the name, and then if you come back a few months later or a year later, and you're trying to change the name, so that name may be used somewhere on the system, in the syntax. So if you change it, so it means that you have to go back to all those areas on SmartSimple and then change the name there. So that's why we do not recommend you guys changing the name. However, you can change it if you want to. Now, so let me just go back to my presentation, and then we'll see the next part. So now assigning roles to users. So I will flip back to the system. I'll just do it here. So I'm using actually 2 screens. That's why. All right. Now I created the role. So let me just go back again to the roles. So you go into here, this icon, you hover over it, and then go to roles and permissions. Now you go back, you go to your, you click on user roles, and then you end up with the list of all the roles. So just one thing, if you create a role, you can create a role today, and then you come back next week and then assign that role to users. You don't have to assign the users right away. And then you come back anytime and then add other users if you want to, or remove the users from that role. So to assign a role, so I would just open up this role, for instance, I created. So there are two ways. So whether you do it from the contact profile or you do it from the role itself. So let me start with doing it from the role itself, and then I will show you from the contact profile. So to assign contacts to a role, so first of all, your contacts should be already added on the system. So if it's not on the system, you have to create that contact first. So to add the contacts to a role, so all you need, just scroll all the way down on the role page, and then click on here under current users, click on add users. So from here, you will end up seeing all the lists of the contacts that are created, whether if it's internal users or external users. I mean, by internal, it means that like people that you know, like part of your organization, or all the applicants or grantees, or like people that are actually part of external organization that you are in contact with. So from here, you can filter by the roles that are already created. So you can filter if you want to, or you can search just by first name if it's just one person, or last name, organization, email, etc. So this is like just a quick way of like finding the user that you will be selecting in order to assign this role. Because like for instance, on our demo system, we have 272 pages. So that's a lot of contacts. So assuming that you search, you end up searching like the contacts that you want, whether by filtering by role or searching by using like the first name, for instance. So then you select the roles that you want. So if I just like type in quickly here, David, Okay, so here, first name, I end up with like the list of contacts that actually have David as a first name. So this is, for instance, like how you use that search feature there. So you can just select the users that you want. So just, for instance, select two. Once you're done with selecting all the users, all you need to do is just click on this add button at the bottom of the pop-up, and those two users will be given the role. So here, from here, you can go to the contact profile itself. So if I click on it, I'm redirected to this contact profile, and then from here, you see this settings button. If you click on it, you have source and you have roles and permissions. So because we're talking about the roles, so all I need to do is just click on roles and access, and from here, I have the list of all the roles that I created, and then can I see here that the system checked off the role that I just created. However, so for the contact, a contact can have more than one role if it's applicable. So it doesn't mean that only contact should have only one role. So this is how you assign a role to more than one contact at the same time. So again, from the role itself, from roles and permissions, user roles, then you go to the role, then from here you have add users. Now, if you, as I said, you can assign it, there are two ways. So this is the first way, as I just explained, and the second way of doing that from the contact profile itself. So you go into contact, so you hover over this icon here, and then you go to contact, then you search your contact that you want to. So let's say, for instance, this is the contact, then you click on, so once you open up the contact, and then you go again, same thing, you go to settings, then roles and access, then from here, you select the role that you want. So this is my role that I just created, external people, and then all I need to do is just click save. So, and then I can assign that role. So it's really easy, like to assign a role to users if you want to. So we just assigned the roles. So we created the role and we assigned the role. So let me just go back to my presentation, and then I will show you the next slide. And here. So now we start with the permissions. So the permissions, as I said earlier, where I will just show you the permissions, and there are two parts. So we'll start with the functionalities, and then I will give you an example of the two functionalities that you can use in order to administer those permissions. So for that, actually, I already prepared, I created an external user and I created an internal user. So let me go back to my system here. Now, for the functionalities, it's something that actually is already on the system, like, for instance, group emails, which is I'll be using. So I'll be using two functionalities, group email, which is being able to send more than, like, an email to more than one contact from your grants manager, submission manager, or let's say, like the applicants, for instance. So if you want to send like an email to a bunch of applicants at the same time instead of sending one by one, so there's the group email on SmartSimple that you can use to do so. So that's a feature or a functionality, and then you can enable it to a certain user. So first of all, I will making those changes in regards to an internal stuff. So let me just show you right now the interface of internal users. So this is like my internal user. So this is like, again, I'm using the same system, and then I just created a user called staff member, and as you see, I don't see that icon that will give me access to the like the configuration or roles and permissions, because it's like internal stuff. They're not system admin on SmartSimple. That's why the interface is different. So now as staff member, I will just go to, for instance, like the grants manager. So it's from here, actually, I have all the applications or all the grants that are submitted by the organizations that I'm dealing with. And then, as I said, on your system, it may be called something that is different, like something else, like such as submission manager, like application manager, request manager, case management, etc. So you go to your main part, or UTA, as we call it in SmartSimple, Universal Tracking Application. So this is a UTA. So you go to that UTA, and then from here you can search, for instance, like the applications that you want. So if I go to submitted applications, for instance, I have 8 applications. So if I want to send an email to all these applicants, so there's an option called group email. So how I can do it is that it's based on the permissions. If it's already enabled, I'll be able to see it. So if I select all the applications, I should have an icon here that is called like if you hover over it, it says group image. So I don't see it so far because this functionality is not enabled for staff member. However, you decide to have that functionality available for them because you will be sending like an email or group email to a bunch of people on the system instead of doing it one by one. So now how I can enable that feature or that functionality to my staff member. So you go back as a system admin on SmartSimple, so you cannot enable this option from here because you don't have the permissions to control those permissions. On SmartSimple, only the system admin rule on SmartSimple has that permission. So we'll go back to my system, system admin. So this is the interface. So I will go to the same UTA, which is Grants Manager. Then I will click on it. Now, here as a system admin, I will just show you same tab that we just saw as a staff member, the 8 applications. If I select all of them, I have this icon that is called a group email. So I can see it as a system admin. So if I click on it, I'll be able to, for instance, the grant officer of all those applications, I'll be able to send an email to all those grants. Grant officer, or I can do it for primary contact. It means that the applicant that actually submitted their application. However, if I just go back again to the interface or for all the staff members, so this is the staff member. So here, those are the 8 applications, but I don't see that button that for the group email. So I won't have that feature available for them. Now, to do so, I will show you how to set up that as a system admin. So we'll go back to the system admin. So this is for SmartSimple support. So this is the system admin access. So now I have to go to the settings of my UTA, which is Grants Manager. So this button here will allow you to go to the settings of your UTA. In our case, it's Grants Manager. So we'll click on that button. Then I would go to the security, because when we're talking about these permissions, it's all about the security. So we click on security. So from here, there are a lot of options, a lot of features that could be enabled or disabled based on the rules. So unfortunately, we don't have enough time to go through all of them. But I will show you for the group email as an example. So for this, you will not find it here, but you will find it under visibility permissions. So if you go into visibility permissions, from here we have different tabs. It depends on the record itself. So we are talking about the application form, which is in our case grant. In your case, could be submission, it could be application, etc. So you just make sure you are under the right tab, and then you look up the options. So here it says enable group email. So as you may see here, so there are other options or features or functionality on SmartSimple. So the concept or the way that you can enable that, so I will show it right away. So in all those options, we have 3 tabs or 3 boxes. So the description, just for you can add the description. It's optional. The logic is you don't have to use it if you want to, because back, I would say a year or almost maybe two years ago, that's the only way to control the permission is through a logic. It means that you have to write down the syntax there. But we made it actually very simple for you guys, just by going and then instead of writing down the syntax, you can just go and then select the role. So it means that you can just enable the permissions based on the role without being worried about the logic. So all you need to do is you click on lookup button beside the role box, then you will be selecting the role that you want. So for my user that just I'm using, I created already a role for my test, and the role that I created is where is it? It's called internal users. So this is the one that I created just for the test to show you guys. So now since my staff members has this role, so I will make sure to select this role to enable the permission, which is for this functionality, which is group email. So I will just select my user or the role, sorry, and I will click on save. So once you click on save, you have this alert, visibility permission updated. You click OK, and then the permission now is enabled. So let me go back to the user, the staff member interface. So this is the staff member interface, and then I will I need to refresh the page because I just made the change. So I have to refresh the page in order to see those changes. So just click on there. Here I select the same applications, I select all of them, Now I can see the button it shows here, group email. So I click on it. Here I can send the email if I want to. So this is an example for the functionality. Now I will show you another example, a second example for external user. So let me go back to the system admin interface. So this is the one. Let's say, for instance, when you open up an application or a grant, so you guys know that actually there is, if you open it, always we have notes here. So it means that you can have internal notes or comments, but you don't want actually like the user to see all those notes, like this section itself, because it's for your own internal use also. So you can actually hide this if you want to, like the whole section will be hidden. So to do so, it's the same thing. Now, if I just go, I will show you. I will just show you first the external user interface. So see, this is the external user interface, which is completely, this is a test one that I created. So all you see is just the application you submitted, and that's it. This is home. So it's really structured as access. So you don't have access to any configuration whatsoever. So only have the access to the application that user submitted. So I created this one just for test. And as you see here, I can see notes, for instance, if there is any note. But my goal is hiding completely this section for the external users, because I'll be using it internally with my colleagues, actually exchanging about the application that is submitted. So to do so, I have to go not as a staff member, but I have to go as a system admin. So this is the interface, and then I will like hide that or disable that feature or that functionality to the user. So I go to my UTA, and then you click on the button configuration settings. Then you go again to the security, because the permissions is a part of the security of the system. You go into same visibility permissions. Make sure that you are under the right logic, which is our grant, because we're not interested in activities or other parts. So then you look up your feature or functionality, which is notes. So here it says enable. So when it says enable, it means that if it's blank, it means that it's enabled to everyone. So, but you want to limit the access to a certain role, so you can enable or select those roles that will have access to this feature. So I would just click same as we've seen it earlier. So we just select the roles that you want. So for instance, I want internal users, which is my staff members, and the system admin, because as a system admin, I want to see it as well. So we take those two roles. So if I save, so it means that right now, notes is only visible to system admin role and internal people. Just to test it, I will go back to the UTA. I open any random like application or grants. Then here I can see the notes. Now I will go and show you the interface of the external user, and you will see that it's hidden. So now I can see it because I have to refresh the page because I just made the change. So I go back to the applications. I will open it up. And here, I don't see the notes anymore. I see annotation. That's a different functionality, but I don't see notes here. So just if I go back quickly to the interface of the system admin, so see here we have notes and we have annotations. So this part is hidden now. So this is how you hide the functionality. So the last part in our presentation, I know maybe we may need like 2-3 more minutes, Jeff, sorry. So, and then the last part is the custom fields for the information. So for this, I will use 2 examples. I will hide a field or an information to an external user, and then I will deny, modify, or edit to internal users for a certain permissions. So just for the permissions for the custom field, so you have whether you hide completely a field, or you can show it, but you say, hey, I only want that user to see it, but they will not be able to modify it. So those are two possibilities actually. Or you can completely decide to keep it open. It means that you will be able to see it or and edit it at the same time. But actually, when we say permission, so it's kind of like controlling what they can see and we cannot see, and when they can edit and not edit. So for that, I would be using an example of the an application. So again, I need to go into my grants manager. Then, so I created this application, which is the application that is submitted by my test user. So I just switched quickly to the interface of the external user. So this is the application. So we'll use it as a test for testing. Now, so first of all, I would start with hiding an information to the external user. So we would like something, for instance, you have a field that is called the internal comments or internal notes on your application form, and you would like to be hidden from that external user because you have some comments about that application and you don't want the applicant to see it. Now I will switch to the system admin, and in here, this is the application. If I open it up, I created a field. So this is the application, just the tabs that you see it might be completely different from yours. So this is just, as I said, our demo system. So, but your application form is different, and then all you see are the tabs. It doesn't mean that you have the same tabs. But the idea is I will show you how you can do that based on the custom field. Now, so I created a custom field under budget, project budget tab, which is this internal comments. So this is like my notes, and I don't want the applicant to see it or the grantee to see it. Now, this is, if I open up the same application, I will go as the external user, and then I will open up the application, and then if I go to the budget, the same application, see, I can see the internal comment. So I don't want my external user to see this. So how I can hide that? Now, I will hide it. I will go back as a system admin, not internal staff account, a system admin account. Then I have to go, since I am talking about the application, so within the same UTA, click on that button just to go back to the whole UTA itself, like the grants manager in my case here. So we go to configuration, because it's everything about the configuration. So since we're talking about the custom fields, even if it's the permission, but it's not under security tab, I have to go to the my grant or application or request. It depends on your system. Then I go to custom fields. So I have to locate that field though. Just one thing that is a little bit different maybe from my system, I'm using the versioning. So maybe on your system you don't have the versioning, so I have to go into the right version of my application in order to locate that application. So in my case, I have to switch to the right version, but in your case, if the version is not enabled, so this section will not be showing. So we click on the right version that I'm using, and then I will look up the field, internal comments. So this is my field. Now here, I will click on it, then I will go to the permissions. You don't have to change anything here. So you go to the permissions and the availability. Then we have here many options for the permissions, whether for the visibility condition. We have the permissions based on the role, which actually we'll be using right now, but there are other permissions based on the status of the application form or the type of the application form, etc. So I will not be talking about those, but I'll be focusing on the roles actually. So here we have view. If you would like to allow view, you would like to allow modify, you would like to deny view and deny modify. And here we have the lookup button beside every option under those permissions based on the role. So all you need to do is just select, for instance, the role. Once you click on the lookup button, you can select one or more roles. So since I'll be hiding that this field or this information from the external user, all I need to do right beside deny view, I will hide it for that external user. So click on lookup button beside it. Then here I have external users, which is the role that is given to my external user test. So I click on OK. Once it's selected, save. Now if I switch back to the external user, so again, this is the interface of the external user here. So just to reference to it, I will go back to the applications. I will open the application. So my internal command is under here, and see, I don't see it anymore under project budget. So it's hidden. Now if I go back as system admin, so this is admin interface. I will go and then open the same grant. So I will click on Grants Manager. I will open the same grant. So I already searched it based on the submission number. If I click on it, I go into budget, and here I can see it. It's only hidden for the external user. If I grab quickly here the submission, I will just show you for the external, my internal staff member. It's not hidden because it's something that is shared by all the internal people. So this is the application here, same one. And if I go into the under budget, so I will see it here as internal member. Okay, so this is how you can hide it. So just the same thing if you want, for instance, just one quick thing. If you want, like for instance, internal staff, as internal staff, you want for the same field, they will not be able to edit it. So only, for instance, the system admin should edit it, or like the grants manager should edit it. So for the same field, you can go into the same field and then say deny, as a system admin, deny modify for internal users. Only you want the certain roles to be able to edit it. So how you can do that, you go back to that custom field as we've seen it, configuration, then same custom field. I have to go into my version because I'm using the version in here. This is my custom field within the same permissions tab, and then here, like deny modify, or I can use allow modify. I can just use, for instance, okay, I need like system admin to modify it, and like a different role, and I will just show you here. So now I just saved it. So so this is the last part. Sorry, guys, because we extended the. So here, okay, yeah, here it says because my staff member is saying it. So just check off that user. So here, as system admin, I can edit it if you want to. However, same application. So we just go to the view mode. Yes, leave. Then if I go to the internal staff, so this is the internal staff. I will go back to the grant and then open up the same grant, and I be on edit mode, and then you will see that I don't have the permission to see. So I'm on edit mode. I can edit other fields. For instance, I can edit this if I want to. Oh, sorry. But if I go to the my internal command, I cannot edit it. So this is the last part for the permissions in regards to the custom field. So whether like hiding it completely or denying denying the permission to edit it. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Sorry, everyone, for going a bit over our scheduled time, but does anyone have any questions to ask Mustafa?
I just had one question I typed into the Q&A box there, Mustafa. It's Andrew.
Yeah, hi.
I'm just wondering, if the able to set password functionality has been extended beyond system administrators. I know you and I talked about that once upon a time, but it just reminded me when you were going through the role permissions that, there is that able to set password box there. But last time we talked about it, I think the answer was only system administrators can set a password.
Yeah, so if I go back here, give me one quick second, I will just show. So within the role itself, right, so if you go into the roles, let's say, I would just, because it's internal, so I would just use the internal. So here, for the being able to set up the password.
Yep.
So, and we're talking about the button if you are under contacts profile. So let me just open up a tab, and then we go just randomly to a contact profile. Then edit. So this button.
Yep.
Okay, so sorry. So your question is like how you that user will be able to set the password?
Yeah, like if say an internal staff member rather than a system administrator being able to see that button and use it, and we've never been able to do that.
Okay, so even if like you enable this permission, it doesn't work.
Yep.
Okay. So actually, for setting the set up the password, so there is that part here that is should be selected. For instance, like I select a different, like let's say this role, then also that user, let's say staff member, should have this part as well. I didn't mention it because this is part of like when you're creating a user, which is not our
okay.
today. So here, make sure that you have a global user admin, because if it's only user, they will not be able to have that button here. But it's part of it actually. So there are like two parts. There is this one, and there's the system admin. But just one thing, since you're giving the global system admin, just make sure that maybe they don't have access to other parts on the system, knowing that actually as internal staff, if you give them global user admin, so you will have this global user admin. So maybe you can, in this case, if one just give the permission to one or two users from that are part of the staff members, maybe create a separate role and give it to them, and then enable those two options for them.
I see. Thanks.
No problem. I see this is your question here, Andrew. And
any other questions for?
So hopefully
it's me.
Yes,
is there a job aid for this training that we can use?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you
like
referring
a
to the SmartSimple wiki?
Just something that we can use for step-by-steps for any of these transactions that you've just showed us.
So there is the wiki, actually, but it will just give you like a general information and the description in regards to the what we've seen, and it will just show you. So it's wiki.smartsimple.com. So end up with this page, and then you have the like rules and permissions. For instance, you just start typing, and then you have this, and then you can end up with the explanation, and then if you click on user roles that we have, so we give you an explanation and everything here. So you can use this one, or you can maybe like use this video as well, because you'll be online, and of course feel free, like anytime you can contact our support, and they will help you out in case if there's something that is missing while you are like setting up those parts that we just explained today.
All right, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today on our webinar, and we hope you found Mustafa's information, explanations helpful. If any questions pop up along the way, Mustafa and the whole SmartSimple support team are ready to help you with any question you may have. Thank you so much again. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.